Get ready, going green. Green, green, green!
Welcome to the Brickyard. Welcome to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Cathedral of Speed, set 8 miles to the northwest of the state capital of Indiana, Indianapolis. And welcome to the season finale of the Verizon IndyCar Series here on RaceSpotTV, streaming live on iRacing Live. It's Will Vincent along with Jake Sperry and Connery Maddock, 2.5 miles towards immortality for 85 laps. 212.5 miles is your race distance here today. It debuted on the iRacing service back in 2009. Let's give a shout out to Isman Balal for track cams for gourmets, to And One Design, the official overlay design of RaceSpotTV, and to Simon Grossman from appgeneer.in for our overlay animations. Well, Jake, we are back home again in Indiana.
Oh, we certainly are, for what you could say is not an Indy 500, but an Indy 212.5. There's this aura of mystique that comes along when you ever see an Indy car here, and it doesn't matter how long the race is or who's in it. It's always a majestic sight to see, once again, just brilliant action that we hope to be seeing as qualifying currently underway.
Yeah, indeed. So, I mean, Connery, you talk about this racetrack, and I did a video about 4 years ago about this. You go underneath the tunnel into the infield on Indy 500 weekend, and it literally feels as if you're teleporting yourself to another universe. Because for 3.5, 4 hours, you are literally, I would say, in fairy tale land in terms of motor racing.
Yeah, from what I've heard of it, the atmosphere is just absolutely insane. There's pretty much nothing else like it. When you under green flag racing, these guys going 200 plus miles an hour around corners down the straights, it's just a whole different experience, and it's one that I would definitely like to have at some point in the future. But we've got this race to get on with. Qualifying is underway, and qualifying is a whole different beast in Indies as well, isn't it? Well.
Oh yes, indeed. Today it's only one lap. 4 1,000ths of a second right now separate John Downing and Henry Bennett in our field here today. Liam Quinn in third, Richard Tam in the 4th position for the time being. However, some of you might have heard the news yesterday that our good friend, Indiana's adopted Hoosier, Jim Neighbors, passed away just 24 hours ago. And I think it's only fitting, one more time, to hear those dulcet tones of Indiana's favourite friend, Mr. Jim Neighbours.
Back home again in Indiana, and it seems that I can see the gleaming candlelight still burning bright through the sycamores for me. The new moon hay fragrant through the fields I used to roam. When I dream about the moonlight on the Wabash, how I long for my Indiana home.
Jim Neighbours will always be a part of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, back home again in Indiana, here for the season finale of the Verizon IndyCar Series from IMS. And let's show you a look then at your starting grid for today's event, and it will be the driver of John Downing, who will start from Club Midwest at the front of your field. Henry Bennett from Club UK and Ireland in second place, 4 1,000ths of a second back. Liam Quinn in third, and Richard Tam rounding out your top 4. We've got 21 drivers who are participating in today's event, Jake, and for 85 laps, they're going to have to go full throttle and find a way of negotiating traffic, negotiating trouble, and finding a way to get themselves into the right position at the end of this event.
You certainly do have to see that, and with a 2-stop race as is expected today, plus or minus what is going to be any cautions that come out to play, it's going to be an interesting event. You are going to see a lot of tactics come into play, the draft coming into play. You talk about tyres, aero dependency, it's all there. They all got the ingredients, and they all have to be very, very cautious about how they negotiate with each other.
Oh, yes, indeed. So there we are, a look at your field as they are now waiting behind the iRacing pace car. 1 pace lap here today, Connery. 85 laps worth of racing. The key thing is, as ever, survive lap number 1, survive the restarts.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the only time where we'll get a double file start here. The rest of the restarts will be single file in good old IndyCar fashion. As Jake said, we're expecting 2 stops. If this one goes green all the way, 85 laps, just short of half an Indy 500 here. But I can't wait to get this one started as they head their way through turn 2.
So then having a look at the front of your field, and you can see that the drivers are now almost going to be side by side, so they work themselves down the back straight away. There is the driver of John Downing. We'll go on board of him. He is your pole position driver for this event here today. We'll just cycle that camera back, and there you can see 20 other racers looking to have that front position. So welcome once again to the corner of 16th Street and Georgetown. Welcome to Indianapolis. Welcome to Friday Night Prime Time here on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live. They're working themselves now on the north end of the racetrack, the short shoot through turn number 3 and 4. This is where J.R. Hildebrand in 2011 tried to go around the outside of Charlie Kimball, pushed himself into the wall and lost the race in the final corner. The same place where Thomas Scheckter lost the race when he was leading as well. There are 4 corners, but they are all so very, very different. Pace car on towards pit road. 85 laps worth of racing is underway here at Indianapolis. going to battle for the race lead, going on already in towards turn number 3 for the first time. That's Henry Bennett looking down to the inside, and he's got that pass complete over John Downing in towards turn number 3, Jake.
Easy work then from the driver of Henry Bennett as he made his way through at 3. Very good, but that's not going to be decisive here as they head now down the front straight towards the yard of bricks for the first time. And back comes Downing, looking for the opportunity to go back to the lead, and shall take so here as the train of 7, 8, 9, 10 continues all the way back to AJ Burton as they head through 2.
Yeah, we have got all drivers. They have completed that first lap. There's battles going on all the way through your field right now. 2 wide going on actually for P4. Actually got yourself Michelle Constantini going at it with the driver of Richard Tam. But Henry Bennett again back down to the inside in turn number 3. Going to hold the inside line through turn number 4. But keep an eye out actually on Liam Quinn in that number 4 machine, because he's now got the inside line over the driver of John Downing as they work themselves towards and past the yard of bricks. Quinn cannot make that pass from P number 2, so Downing gets away just for the moment and he stays in position. But Henry Bennett leads that number 2 of 85 there, Connery.
Yeah, passes and chess at 200 miles an hour. We could see a 3 wide if Tam decides to go down the inside of the 2 battling at Constantini. Liam Quinn still side by side for P number 3 heading into turn number 3. Tam and Tim Doyle is side by side heading through turn number 3. That is going to be for position at number 5 there, as Tim Doyle will just have to back out of the move there. Tam running a little bit high, but still manages to make his way around the corner, get the momentum around the corner. Here comes AJ Burton, the number 15, down the inside of Doyle.
Yep, so let's move up the driver of AJ Burton 1 position. He is now in P number 6 in this field. Tim Doyle going to try and work the outside line through turn number 2, cannot do so. There's a gap ahead of AJ Burton. The thing to note about this racetrack, it is all about momentum, as Tim Doyle will go down to the inside in towards turn number 3. He will try and take that place back, cannot do so. Bennett continues to lead, Downing 2nd place, Quinn in 3rd, Constantini in 4th, and Richard Tam rounds out your top 5 right now. Let's go on board the driver of Andreas Eek, actually. He's in P number 8, but Jake, the thing about this is you've got to be able to set up your pass about half a lap before you actually do it if you want to carry the momentum forward.
Yes, and that's going to be the crucial factor as I look just a little bit ahead. AJ Burton almost tagging the wall out of 1. He's got to be careful about doing that. You've got to make sure that you get a great run out of 2. And if you don't, you'll be struggling through 3 and 4, side by side for the final spot then. Inside the top 3, Quinn on the outside, the inside, going to that driver, Michele Constantini, and Constantini down to the inside, taking it through 3, taking it through 4. But here may come the up and under. Here comes Richard Tam just behind.
Yep, so we're on board right now with the driver of Liam Quinn. He's going to move himself then to the inside line through turn number 1. He will get that position. It will be score complete. Richard Tam could not do the double move there, so he could not find a way to take advantage of that one as the drivers now exit. And we almost had Tam there hitting the wall in the exit of turn number 2 as well. Oh, Tam is into the wall. And it's his 2nd driver up and around as well. We will stay green, however, for the time being. It's Richard, Tam, and Seth Gonzalez. No, Gonzalez is okay. AJ Burton involved in that one as well. Now, let's get a replay of that one if we can. We're on board with the driver of AJ Burton. Bam. Nothing else you can really say about that one. We do, however, stay green here because all of the cars were off track, Connery.
Yep, that's just the way iRacing does things in terms of caution.
Oh, no,
if the racing track is clean.
Constantini.
This will cause a yellow. Constantini there has had himself a spin. Are we still... Oh, we've got a yellow. We've got our first yellow of the day. Another car turnaround as well. That is Dimitri in the number 20 machine, you can see. So first yellow of the day here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Let's get a replay. We're going to start actually on board with Dimitri in that number 20, because this will give you a good example of what happened. Driver head spinning. Dimitri tries to check up. Oh, and he hits him big time. T-bones him even.
Wow. And Dmitry Zhukanovic, you could argue they're having a very hairy, scary moment. The first caution, Will, on lap number 7, it was threatening after the incident with Richard Tam a lap prior, but That's the thing, drivers getting a little bit twitchy in the early goings. They had some clean laps under their belt, but once you start getting feisty, once you try and find a rhythm, if you just start to get knocked out of it, lose the momentum, you start getting a little bit desperate, and that's where drivers like Constantini should be doing a little bit better with the experience that he has within classic Indy cars.
Yeah, and let's have a look at the weather here today. 12-kilometer-an-hour winds. It's not that windy here. Partially cloudy, 50% humidity, 24 degrees Celsius is the air temperature here today. But turn number 2, Connery, is one of these things that if you get it wrong, you push out on the exit of the corner, there is literally the point of no return.
Yeah, it's a corner that actually does have a slight elevation change on the exit there, and it's basically, if you have a problem there, either you spin wildly towards the inside or you're going to hit that outside wall carrying way too much momentum through there. It's one of the trickiest corners of the 4 at this circuit, and has claimed many, many victims. That outside wall has claimed many, many cars in the past, and that inside wall as well. Some of the drivers head towards pit lane now for their service, but mostly all drivers are going to stay out, namely the ones at the front of the field. Drivers at the rear field either coming in just to try and get a slight advantage in terms of the fuel, in terms of the tires, to get themselves back up there, because it's not too many positions that they're going to lose by pitting from the back of the field.
Gordon Newdrox is one of the drivers pitting. He's at the front. Michelle Keeney, Ricky Gerhardt, many other drivers, actually about 7 drivers on pit road right now, making a scheduled service, so to say, here at IMS. Lap number 9 of 85 here. Ricky, the first driver off of pit road then Newdrox. He's down 2 places. You see the rest of the drivers very close actually between Mark Bruni and Sid Gonzalez as they work themselves out of pit road. But let's go back and have a look at your race leader. We are going to step aside for a couple of moments here on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live. We'll be back with more after this message. We'll take your RaceSpotTV side by side. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to RaceSpotTV. Lights are off on the pace car, so we have got ourselves 1 lap to go before we go green. To give you confirmation, drivers who pitted: Michelle Rishi, Gordon Newdrox, Ricky Gerhardt, Sergio Moressi, Jean-Marc Bruni, Sid Gonzalez, Michelle Constantini, all made scheduled pit stops. You've got AJ Burton with an extended pit stop, Dimitri in the number 20 car, and then Richard Tam is currently classified as out of this event. So, 1 start has happened now, Connery. Restart, single file restart here. As, what do you do now? How do you make sure you survive the restart at IMS?
You just gotta keep your nose clean. Just be aware of all the dirty air, especially if you're quite far back in the field. You're going to be getting so much dirty air from the cars in front of you that you're just going to have a catastrophic loss of grip through the corners compared to when you're running in clean air. So get your settings right, get your weight tracker where you want it to be, get your rear and front anti-roll bars where you want to be running in dirty air, and just try and get these first 5 or 10 laps done, and then you can start looking at moves.
Yep, so there you can see a look down at your field. Drivers about to head themselves through turn number 4. Pace car will bring itself on towards pit road. Remember, you can't pass on the inside, but you can on the outside before the green flag. Here come the drivers, here come the cars once again. 10 of 85 going to be scored complete then as we come to the restart here. Green flag back in the air. That's down to the inside early, actually, for Liam Quinn. He almost got himself a black flag, Jake.
Very lucky that he didn't enter one there in comparison to John Downing. Downing shut the door firmly and said, you know what, I'm not really caring about first in this situation. I'm just going to cover the move here for second, as now Quinn, Doyle side by side behind, looking to try and get themselves into play behind that. Ike and Koolbergen trying to go at it. Jeffrey Koolbergen in the number 5, looking to the inside. No moves forthcoming.
Yep, Koolbergen there in the number 5 machine. A to him, as he now is in the 6th position right now, heading themselves through turn 4, down towards the yard of bricks once again. Now McBride actually will go on board of him for the moment, as he currently runs himself in P7 in the number 17 machine, right behind. Actually, I'll take this back, actually, because we almost got a pass for the race lead there. Downing is out front. Henry Bennett in P number 2. Liam Quinn in 3rd place right now. So it's all action as it goes on. And Koolbergen and Eek actually are going to have themselves a moment as they'll come down towards turn number 3, the north end of the racetrack once again. Koolbergen up to P number 5 there. Connery.
Yeah, Koolbergen making some very fantastic progress as we come to complete lap 12 now, heading down the pit straight. Everyone just snaking a little bit, trying to break the draft. Some of these drivers as they head down in towards turn number 1. No passes for position on the cards, at least inside your top 5, as it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 car breakaway at the front.
Yeah, and this is the driver down in P number 11, Gorg Lujox. We expected some big things from him. He's actually running in kind of no man's land right now in that 11th position. Koolbergen versus Tim Doyle right now, as we've also got a battle going on for your race lead down to the inside through turn number 3. It's going to be Downing on the outside, Henry Bennett on the inside, and again Liam Quinn there, Jake, has tried to go down to the inside to do the double move, wasn't able to do so, and now he's got Tim Doyle on his outside, but look at that, they're 2 wide behind him as well, because Jeffrey Koolbergen is thinking about making a move down to the inside into 1, not quite able to do so. New Jock so far, slap the day so far.
Yeah, New Joke's getting fast. Slap of the day and a change for the lead once again, as now John Downing tries to run away for the border. Not going to work, though. He will be closed down. Quinn has been a little bit aggressive here, just poking his nose, but not being decisive enough to make the move. He moves to the outside, heading into 3 in a very late apex entry as he goes through. But look at the speed he carries through the mid part of the apex, steals the position away from a slowing driver of Henry Bennett, who's now under pressure from Koolbergen, who is the man on a mission, who is already +8, looking to go +9. And look at this one just behind them, Doyle and McBride wanting to get in on the party.
That was a fantastic pass by Liam Quinn on the outside, actually. Number 2 machine of Henry Bennett just seemed to bog down in the centre of turn number 3.
We have a car stopped on the pit. Yeah, we have a car stopped on the pit straight. Will actually just stay green there. Interestingly enough, this is Pierre Baudon, the number 18 car. Had a couple of unfortunate issues with George Nujox there, I believe. Actually, it was just a single car incident, and he has pulled that car off and he's towed it back to the pits.
Yeah, there is Pierre Baudon through turn number 4. Caution. The Hornet Racing SSR car, we have got a yellow. We'll bring you up to speed with that one in just 1 second time. And for Pierre Baudon, that's very weird because he actually ended up crashing the car all by himself. Yellow flag is out, however. Talk us through it there, Connery.
Yeah, it's going to be the 19 machine of Alexander Kushanov here, and it's just a single car spin coming off of turn number 3. He was in the middle of the track. The back end just stepped out on him. He tried to hold it. He tried to hold it the best he could, but that car just wanted to swap ends, and it did. He spins towards the grass inside that access road there, but that's still enough to bring out the yellow.
Yeah, there's the replay said. You can see he lost it all by himself there. That double wiggle through turn number 3. So what that's really showing here is he's got himself quite a lot of front wing, but not a lot of rear wing here, Jake. And that's the thing. Sometimes you set these cars up to really be twitchy when you're running by running by yourself, to make it easier to drive when you're in clean air and when you're in dirty air even.
Yes, and the difference between clean air and dirty air has such a profound effect on these Dallara chassis machines. And everybody knows that they can be as nice to use you like, and sometimes they can be the most fickle of mistresses. So when you look at that sort of situation and you saw that incident, he actually tried to catch it, started to lose it, tried to catch it, and then the vehicle just broke away and said, you know what, not really going to work. Lap 16 of 85 that we got, and already we're starting to think Do we come down in? Do we not? And right now, one take up, but look at all the dummies.
Yeah, lots of dummies there as Downing will come in towards pit road. However, Liam Quinn, Henry Bennett, Jeffrey Kohlberg decide not to. Tim Doyle will come in. Andreas Eek will come in. Jorg Nudot, Ricky Gerhardt, Luke Barbre are all coming on towards pit road. So, 3 split strategies all going on at the same place right now. This is going to make things very, very interesting over the course of the next, I'd say, 20 laps or so. As here's a look. Out of pit road will come John Downing. He'll be the first one off pit road. Then Tim Doyle, Andreas Eek. George Newgott will get a place up there. Luke Barb up 3 places. Ricky Gerhardt up 1. Bruni up 1. Constantini down 4 places. AJ Burton, very slow pit stop for him in comparison. But what that does now mean is Liam Quinn leads this motor race. And I want to go back to that passing wedge on the outside, Connery, because that was absolutely fantastic by him.
That was a brilliant pass by the British driver. Usually you don't see passes like that happen this early on in the race, but Liam Quinn, he just hung it around the outside and somehow those tires gripped up there, and he managed to make that move around the outside. And now look where he is. Once when John Downing came down to pit because that yellow, now he's now leading the race here as well. So let's see how he does in clear air, and can he keep Henry Bennett behind him. And there's also an interesting thing to note: the drivers that come down on towards the lane, they still cannot make it to the end on one more stop. They still have to come in down for the second stop, because when this goes green, we'll have about 66, 67 laps to go. So that's not going to be enough for them. They need yellows.
Yeah, indeed so. As we are going to be completing 18 laps of this race by the time we go back to green flag racing here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. It's the final edition of Friday Night Primetime for this season. And don't forget, Jake, that it is the iRacing community and the fans who watch RaceSpotTV and iRacing Live who will decide what we show every Friday night next season.
Exactly. And every Friday night we see brilliant action up and down the field every single time. And, you know, some of the best decide that they want to jump in and race some of these races that you see. It's not too uncommon to see races that maybe you don't normally see much participation suddenly get a massive spike because of prime time. It is an important and crucial part. But I want to go back to the strategy here in terms of yellows. I was looking at how you save on a tank, and they'll be saving a lot of fuel here with the drivers at the front, the likes of Quinn, Bennett, Kohlbergen. But with 2 cautions that have already come out in the space of 18 laps, I reckon they're banking on the fact here, Will, that there'll be another caution before their pit stop window comes into play. A green stop pit, if another caution comes out somewhere in and around or just after that, will be nightmare fuel for them.
Yeah, your top 5 drivers as well, they're going to need to put away quite quickly on this restart if they can keep it clean. So give them 14 laps or so. They should be in a position that when they do come in towards pit road, they won't go a lap down. However, what will be interesting is if we get a caution in 8 laps time, what will happen is these guys will cycle to the rear. The guys that have made the pit stop, they will be the ones who's benefited the most. Everyone who came in on the first caution has come in again. So we are now in a 2-strategy situation. Liam Quinn, Henry Bennett, Jeffrey Kohlbergen, Nell McBride and Sam Saunders are 18 laps already into a stint. Everyone else, they have pitted on the last caution, and they are going to be heavier but able to go longer in this event. Everyone still needs to make, however, at least one more pit stop. Pace car going to come down towards pit road once again. Liam Quinn will bring the field to the green flag here once again at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. And here we go, down in towards turn number 1. No real attack from behind for the moment. Actually, a lot of these drivers will just be hoping that they can get through and keep this race green for the moment, as we've got a driver coming out of pit road as well. That should probably feed into the rear part of this traffic, so there shouldn't be too many issues. Let's go on board the driver of Tim Doyle. He is right behind John Downing. These are 2 drivers who have pitted. Tim Doyle wants to be the driver maybe to lead this second pack right now. Maybe he thinks, Connery, that if he can get this one done, he can keep contact with that front group, and he goes down to the inside, down towards the yard of bricks.
driver's left-hand side it has to be for the number 3 machine, as Alec will stay patiently behind, not wanting to make it 3 wide down into turn number 1. Here comes Tim Doyle on the inside. Still doesn't have that pass quite complete just yet, but he'll make it complete by the apex of turn number 2. And Downing not able to get a fantastic run off the corner, but he still has that slipstream, still able to make this repass down the inside of 3.
Yeah, now McBride, however, going at it with the driver of Sam Saunders. Now, this actually isn't that good a move, Connery, because what's happened is they have lost themselves already half a second to the guys ahead of them, and they're now in a situation which allowing Downing, Doyle, etc. to keep contact whilst they are losing contact to your top 3 drivers. That was not a good idea, I would say, by the likes of Noel McBride to try and force that move. Go on.
That's a double overtake for Jeffrey Kohlberg, power move to get to the lead at 1. My goodness, is he on a firestormer, Will?
Yeah, Jeffrey Kohlberg, former driver from Team Afterburn, will on board of him for the replay. As we just see there, down towards turn number 1. 1, 2, we've got a yellow. Connery, talk me through it.
Yeah, the number 7 machine of Michele Constantini around the outside at turn number 1. They attempted a move around the outside of Jankovic there, but Jankovic just pushed up a little bit on the exit of the corner, just tagged Constantini's left front tyre and put them in the wall.
Yeah, here's a replay. Let's go back a little bit further. The outside in towards turn number 1 through the shadows can often be very difficult. Constantini, though, well, Constantini did nothing wrong. It's a driver coming up, but the thing is, the inside of turn number 1, you naturally do drift up the racetrack. We've seen so many drivers, you know, in single file traffic, Connery, hitting the wall. That is how hard turn number 1 is. And again, the shadows are such a big part of that as well.
Yeah, it is. In the shadows, the track is so much cooler that you have so much grip on the inside coming into turn number 1. But the thing is, Jankovic was right tucked under the rear wing of his teammate right in front of him, and Gerhardt as well. So he was always going to push up there if he didn't get that car slowed way down. And Constantini is just the innocent party in it.
Let's talk about Jeffrey Kohlberg for a moment there, Jake. Up 11 places here today. They are now 22 laps, though, into a stint. If it was to go green, they'd probably get about 10 laps of fuel before they had to come down pit road. If you're Kohlberg, are you going to risk it and go for pretty much broke, or are you going to come down and play the safer option?
We're a little bit early here. We're heading towards that 1/3 distance where if I was Kohlberg, I'd play the strategy card now. Come down in, get your fuel, make sure you're safe. There will be more cautions in the future. You've already run it down twice. You can know that the 3rd time, there's not many more options. And as you can see, straight in 1. No, look at that. Quinn, Bennett, McBride all staying out. Sanders in as well.
Yep. Dummy after dummy after dummy here today. That has been the shape of things at the Brickyard. Jeffrey Kohlberg has come down on towards pit road. However, others around him have stayed out. So there's now 3 drivers who are on this alternate strategy. Liam McQueen, Henry Bennett, and now McBride. Kohlberg doesn't actually come to a stop. Connery?
Mate?
Jake? Anyone? What just happened?
He went straight through.
I think he saw the fact that his rival stayed out, knew that he got caught napping up by it because he was at the front, and if he stayed out and he's missed his box, you may have to come by a second time. If he's gone and stayed out, he'll be hoping for another caution, which I think he will be, but he has just completely lost all track position afterwards.
Yeah, we're going to step aside for a brief moment here on RaceSpotTV. We'll be back with more after this message. We'll take you RaceSpotTV side by side. Waiting for the green here. 24 laps going to be scored complete at the Brickyard. Liam Quinn leads over Henry Bennett, now McBride. Jeffrey Koolbergen came down pit road last time by, did not stop in his box and did not come back down pit road. He is currently scored in P number 8. He's a driver you want to keep an eye out here. Don't forget, low fuel. The other guys have done 7 laps on a stint of tyres, so it's going to be very close between them as they work themselves on the back straightaway in a moment's time. Pace car on towards pit road once again. Quinn will take the restart. Green flag in the air once again. Let's have a look at Jeffrey Koolbergen. He's on the attack already as we work ourselves down in towards turn number 1. Behind, he's actually at 1 place already. He's got Andre Seek right ahead of him. But a bad turn 1 actually for him. He might struggle. He'll have to really use that draft as they work themselves down this back straightaway. As we got also movement ahead for the race lead. Here comes Henry Bennett versus Liam Quinn side by side. Bennett to the point there, Jake.
Yeah, Bennett getting himself past Liam Quinn. Very easy through 3, but Quinn will follow comfortably through 4, using all of the track there down at 4, getting himself to the inside on the run to 1, the preferred line in towards turn number 1. And look at that, it's Noah's Ark behind, too wide, too deep. Koolbergen suddenly up into position number 4 as he sizes his way through past Downing and Ike just behind. And look at that, Quinn holding position then, getting himself to the point, 0.02 of a second when they cross the line. And look at that, fanning almost 3 wide there, Downing, Doyle and Ike.
Yeah, there's a replay from Jeffrey Koolbergen. That's exactly what he had to do though. If he's going to try and stay in this event, he's actually now got to try and close up to this top 3 duo. It's currently 0.6 of a second. Koolbergen will actually pull everyone with him. So if Koolbergen actually pulls this one off, Connery, he's actually going to hurt the top 3 drivers more than anything else because they're not going to be able to pull away as we got very close behind.
Almost a little bit of contact there between Doyle and Downing as they head their way down in towards turn number 1 as they and this little group tried to chase down your leading 3 who have already pulled out a substantial gap over them, over half a second already. Here comes the run from Dim Doyle on Koolbergen now, coming down in towards turn number 3. He's going to take the inside line. Koolbergen will have to defend on the outside or just let Tim Doyle through, which he does there. Just lets him through and maybe sets up the slingshot pass coming out of turn 4 to try and drag this pack back up to the podium positions.
I mean, that's not necessarily a bad thing, however, because Tim Doyle is 10 laps into a stint. He's not going to be as heavy as guys around him. Liam Quinn, Henry Bennett, going to go side by side for your race lead once again on lap number 28 of 85 here. Bennett down into the 2nd position. Although 0.8 of a second, they are getting into that region now, Connery, where they are going to start losing the draft. Tim Doyle, Koolbergen really need to work together now. As we're going to see that, Tim Doyle's going to slim himself down to the inside.
Yes, he will, and he will gain that position back as, look, he's just dragging Koolbergen and Doyle are just dragging this whole 2nd pack all the way back up to your top 3 as the top 3 spread out a little bit. We can expect another pass from Koolbergen here on Doyle, and look at that, they're just working the draft absolutely perfectly, these 2 drivers, to bring them back to the front.
Yeah, and at the same time, I think what happened is Henry Bennett choked a little bit as here comes Doyle down to the inside once again through turn number 2. They are back within draft range, and now your top 8 drivers, get this, are separated by 2.1 seconds. Tim Doyle still has that inside line, still side by side towards turn number 3 in the north end of the racetrack once again. Koolbergen can actually work that outside line, but doesn't hold on through turn number 3. Worth thinking that one for the end of the motor race, so just in case it will happen on that final lap. Behind, we've got ourselves, by the way, 2 retirees today, Pierre Bourdon and Richard Tam. They are both out in this motor race. Everyone else is still hard for racing going on. Here's the situation though, Jake. Quinn, McBride and Bennett and Koolbergen might be on pit road in the next 5 laps.
That's the big worry for them, is that they're going to fall out of strategy and will have to do the work later, relying maybe on a caution as McBride, or shall I say Bennett right now, has been caught hand over fist by Tim Doyle. Bennett has really struggled at the later stages of a run here. When you talk about 7, 8 laps into a stint, he has been the one who has dropped back, maybe not having the overall race pace that other drivers have. Doyle down to the inside will probably make easy pickings of it, and does. Koolbergen will think about getting into line, work the shot through 2.
Yeah, but what's happened is that Tim Doyle is now 7 tenths of a second behind the driver on Now McBride. 7 tenths of a second makes it very hard to utilise that drop. But of course, these drivers do have in-car tools that they can utilise. They've got the anti-roll bar, both front and rear. They've got the weight jacket that they can use. That will help change the balance of the race car throughout this motor race. And I can give you one thing for certain right now, Connery. Tim Doyle is using every single one of those in-car tools, but he lost a tenth, 2 tenths of a second. That last lap is almost there. Jeffrey Kohlbergen and Henry Bennett came together in towards turn number 1.
Yeah, very, very close there as we have swap for the race lead. Now McBride currently leading them around right now as Tim Doyle tries to hold off Bennett around the outside at turn number 2. Here comes Kohlbergen as well. He could potentially make a move on Henry Bennett. There goes Tim Doyle towards the inside to try and help Kohlbergen try and get past Henry Bennett here. He takes the inside line and now he's going to get the effect of the dirty air from the car in front, so he's not able to complete the move coming down into turn number 3, maybe turn number 4. So they get very, very close. Less than a millimeter between the tires there, I would have thought, as Kohlbergen gets through. And here comes Andreas Hellick as well.
Caution! It's Alexander, number 19 machine. He's out. He's wrecked his car. Solo spin by the looks of it. Down through turn. Yeah, it's got to be a solo spin down in turn number 2. Takes the corner. We talk about the... he just had too much weight jacket going on there, Connery. Because that car, he'd lost it about a third of the way into the apex of turn 2.
Yep, exactly. The weight jacket, if you raise it, you're going to be raising the center of gravity of the car and just makes the car just looser as you raise it up. And usually that's not an issue. Usually you raise the weight jacket if you're suffering from a little bit of understeer, want to get that car turning a lot better, especially if you're running in dirty air. But if you suddenly get into some clean air without changing the weight jacket, all of a sudden your car is very, very loose. And that could have been what happened there.
Well, you notice the fact that your 2 drivers, now McBride and Liam Quinn, were coasting. This was, I would say, perfect for them, Jake, because I think they would have been on pit road, not necessarily this lap, but maybe in the next lap. So they are coasting as much as they can for 2 reasons. A, to make sure they don't run out of fuel. B, because if they can save just the tiniest bit of gas, it will help them in terms of half a second. Well, that can be about a position, maybe 2 positions, when this field sorts itself out on pit road. I do expect everyone, and I mean everyone on pit road, 33 of 85, going to be score complete.
And C to get back behind the pace car, which they did jump ahead just a little bit. You can see everyone trying to dive down onto that lane. Doubt we'll see any dummies being thrown at this stage. This is the mandatory one. In fact, one stays out. John Downing deciding who wants to stay out. Also, that's Ricky Gerhard, I think. And I think she wants to stay out as well. But something else that I wanted to know, that crash that we saw of Kirsanov, that looks very eerily similar to Sebastian Bourdais in qualifying.
Yeah, it is. And it's a common thing that will happen down at turn number 2. Because turn 2 is a far harder corner than you think. So if you end up in a situation where you try and take a bit too much on the weight jacket, the back end will stake out. If you put too little weight jacket in, you're in a situation when you just push all the way up on the racetrack and you get into that grade, it's game over. Tim Doyle will win the race off of pit road. Andreas Eek in 2nd place there. Liam Quinn down 1 spot. Luke Barber in P number 6, up 6 places. Sanders up 6 places. Bennett is down quite a bit. And actually, now McBride, that is a horrible 22-second miss. Did he speed on towards pit road when we're under yellow flag there, Connery? I have no idea.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting, especially considering that these IndyCars do have pit limiters. So if that is a speeding onto pit road, that is well, kind of an embarrassing one, shall we say. And we've also had another slow stop from Henry Bennett. He had 10.4 seconds stationary. Usually you're looking at about 6 or 7 seconds on the stop there for the rest of your drivers. So yeah, Henry Bennett just drops back through the field as a result of the stops.
Yeah, don't forget that was a full tank of fuel, though, for Henry Bennett compared to everyone else. Also worth noting, there might have been a little bit of damage that we didn't see on either, let's say, Noel McBride or Henry Bennett's car that they might have just got sorted out. A lot of front wings have been crumpled here today, a lot of very close moments. But that does now mean that John Downing leads the way here. Here's your top 8. 34 of 85 score complete. Still got 50 laps of this motor race to go. We've been racing for about 14 minutes almost here, as it is John Downing who leads away over Ricky Gerhart, and then it's Tim Doyle in 3rd, Andreas Eek in 4th, Liam Quinn, Loic Barber, Jeffrey Kohlbergen, and Sam Saunders round out your top 8, Jake. Jake?
Yes.
Are you alive?
Yeah, well aware. And well, what we have seen in the early goings of this event is a lot of tentativeness. Yes, we've seen the brilliant power moves, but you know, you can't win this race in the early goings. You've got to strategize. You've got to keep counting back. You've got to keep looking for open opportunities. And sometimes it takes a clever driver to get to the back. I mean, we've seen Ricky Gerhardt, for example, just play the quiet game. Always stay at the back, stay out of trouble, just run consistent laps. And she's brought herself up into second on strategy now and puts herself in arguably the best position out of all the drivers at this stage, maybe slightly off strategy, hoping to save a bit more fuel when they get right down to it at the late stages to bring herself back onto play. Downing exactly the same. This race is far from over for drivers, you could argue, even back in 11th, like, say, AJ Burton, who was involved in incidents earlier.
Yeah, Krushnov is out of the event, Pierre Bourdon and Richard Tam. 18 drivers remain in this field. Now, we've been having a bit of a stop-start race here today, Connery. That can change in a heartbeat. All drivers must still do at least one pit stop. We know that for fact. John Downing, actually, I'm just trying to work this one out. He'll be very close. He might still need to do 2 pit stops as we come back to green.
Yeah, he needs cautions to try and save enough fuel as we come towards the race start. The Peace guy is going to pull down pit road and get this race underway again.
Yep, so Downing leads then from Ricky Gerhardt. Here we go, green flag in the air one more time at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. They're 2-3 wide behind as they come down in towards turn number 1. Tim Doyle, power move, down to the inside of Andreas Eek, down towards turn number 1. AJ Burton, bottom of 2 wide, 2 deep situation as they work themselves through turn 1, in towards turn number 2. Now McBride, Henry Bennett are in that mix as well. Bennett, of course, has led this race so far today. We go on board of him. He wants to get himself towards this front pack. What we just saw there, though, Jake, is the fact that your top 9 drivers have pulled away a little bit. For Bennett, McBride, and Newchocks, they are going to have to really work. Actually, they got it all that they needed there through turn 3 and 4, because I was about to say they could have lost the draft, but with top 4 drivers, they really have pulled away. Downing, Gerhardt, Doyle, and Eek, they've done a fantastic restart there and got themselves up now a second ahead of Jeffrey Koolbergen.
And most of that down to Zhukanovich's wounded vehicle that has been struggling around here. The fabled track here in Indiana, there's been a lot of issues with that machine being involved in 2 separate incidents with Michele Constantini, and is now just dropping back, trying to keep safe in this event. But you're starting to see that train of 4 try and pull themselves together, trying to work together. Ricky Gerhardt trying to close that one down to Downing, and I think going to wake behind she is in towards 1. Maybe would have had a chance to sling it alongside, decided against it. Now Doyle and Eek are there, and now you see Quinn, Koolbergen, and Sanders. These are some of the hardest charges in this second pack. Be careful, they will run right up to the leaders.
Yeah, indeed so. So Gerhardt about a quarter of a second, a fifth of a second right now behind John Downing. Tim Doyle is actually going to go alongside and is sweeping past. What you saw there was intelligent driving, though, by Gerhardt, Connery. Knowing the fact drivers going down to the inside, allowing them enough room to make the clean pass, because at that point, what will happen is you both lose less time overall, as Koolbergen now down to the inside of Liam Quinn.
Yeah, and Tim Doyle back into the race lead, overtakes John Downing for that race lead as they head their way through the turn 1, turn 2 complex as well. And I have to say, Ricky Gerhardt, I think she just sort of realized that her guy isn't quite as fast as the rest of these guys. She can run with them, of course, with the help of the draft. There's no point in battling side by side through every corner. It's just going to lose you time, especially at Indianapolis, as Andreas Ellick has to run down into turn number 3, doesn't get it. Those side by side, Quinn and Koolbergen, they're losing a little bit of time to the front pack as well.
Yeah, indeed so. So the top 4 are actually losing time to Liam Quinn now. Quinn is almost in draft range once again. You see the swip swapping, the moving, they're trying to break the draft down in towards turn number 1. Koolbergen down to the inside, pass will be scored complete. Gap no back up to 0.8 of a second. Jean-Marc Bruni versus Luc Barber. They go side by side. Luc is going to win that one, as it's very, very close in your top 3 or 4 drivers right now. This is the type of IndyCar racing we expect, though, Connery. This is what we've seen in so many Indy 500s. Power move there. Look at that, Andreas Eek down to the inside, getting himself past Gerhardt.
Yeah, brilliant move from number 11 down the inside of turn number 3. Just Gerhard did kind of try to defend it, then move to the outside line at the last minute. Alec heads towards that pit wall, just trying to bait the draft. Here comes Kuhlberger around the outside of Gerhard, maybe into turn number 1, but backs out of that move. He's looking for the run out turn 2.
Yeah, we're now back up to a 7-car pack in terms of your front field on board of Kuhlberger. I'm going to put the speed graphic up here, Jake. I'm going to keep it on for a couple of moments because you can see 227, 28, 29 miles an hour in towards turn 3 and 4, utilising that draft. Although Kuhlberger almost comes down on the driver of Liam Quinn a little bit there through turn number 3 into turn number 4. Kuhlberger has to take the outside line. This is going to compromise his top speed though down towards turn number 1. He's going to do the over-under. He now looks to the inside in towards turn number 1. He's not going to be close enough, however, and Kuhlberger has to settle for 6th place for the moment. This is some fantastic racing though. This is exactly what we expect from the iRacing Verizon IndyCar Series.
Oh, it absolutely is, and Kuhlberger getting the run out to 2, back again on Liam Quinn, will head to the inside on the run to 3, looking to make something happen as they head into turn number 3, stuck on the outside track there, out of the groove there was Liam Quinn, no chance going through. Andreas Ike up to 2nd, but look at what's happened. They're allowing Tim Doyle now the opportunity to break away. Ike's got to work with Downing and Gerhard doesn't want to work, so Downing and Ike, they've got to work, they've got to pull along everyone. Back to Tim Doyle, the gap 0.8 of a second.
Yeah, but let's not forget Tim Doyle. If there's anyone who knows how to control the field in the Indianapolis events here on iRacing, it is Tim Doyle. He is one of a very elite group of members to have won an iRacing Indianapolis 500. Him and Young O swapped positions in 2011 and 2012. Tim Doyle, a one-time winner. Young O, a one-time winner as well between 2011 and 2012. So he knows what he's doing. He is literally a veteran of this Verizon IndyCar Series. Liam Quinn on the outside, over Jeffrey Kuhlberger, in towards turn number 1, ahead. John Downing, Ricky Gerhard going side by side in towards turn number 1 as well. As they are doing this, the gap between Tim Doyle and P2 is currently 0.7 of a second. Kuhlberger tries to make the move down to the inside, cannot do so in towards turn number 2. Connery, that's one of the things we've been talking about. Turn number 2, sometimes you have to lift off. Momentum is a big thing, but Kuhlberger actually going to try and do the 2-for-1 special in towards turn number 3. He gets 1. He might get the 2nd. He might get Downing actually in towards turn 4. No, he doesn't.
He just gets the 1 as he pushes a little bit wide on exit, just gets that car slowed down. Now here comes the run cam down in across the stripe now, and it's Kuhlberger going to be inside line for turn number 1, looking behind Gerhardt and Quinn, and Sanders has the 1, goes for the 2-for-1 special down the inside as turn number 1, and this time he almost gets it, as Gerhardt has to slow down there to avoid the lower bit of contact. Sanders gets 2-for-1 into turn number 1, something that Kuhlberger couldn't do.
Yeah, and Gerhardt's lost a couple of positions here. Been running up front for part of the day. Got to go back past Kuhlberger. But even though she will do that, she's going to be about 0.8 of a second now behind John Downing. That was just a miserable couple of laps there for Ricky Gerhardt there, Connery. And as a consequence of that, she and that second pack have again fallen off your front trio. Well, what? That's the one I'm looking for.
Yeah, and Gerhardt's just going to get past yet again here, this time by Liam Quinn, heading their way down in towards turn number 1. Quinn will get that move done pretty easily. There's Sanders as well, Sam Sanders looking for the position as Gerhardt just drops back and back and back. She did stay out on that last stop, same with the car of John Downing, I believe. But she is not really benefiting as much as Downing is from this strategy.
Yes, but it's worth noting, Jake, that Downing will be on pit road in about 5 laps as it stands right now. So Downing is going to be praying for a yellow flag over the course of the next 3 or 4 laps or so.
Exactly, and John Downing does not want to come down for a green flag stop. Not many drivers in this field will be very happy if they put themselves in that sort of situation, with John Downing trying everything to say with Jeffrey Kuhlberger and absolutely failing at this stage, at this venture. He's got to be feeling that he's going to be dropping miles back right now in comparison to Quinn. Look at how Quinn closes up. It was 7/10 when they got to the line, and now into 3. Quinn's monstered past. Look how slow the driver of Downing now is.
Downing's trying to save fuel. I think that's the situation. His last lap, 40.6, 2/10 slower than anyone else. Let's try and actually listen in. Let's see if we can hear anything. That was a lift. That was a big lift in towards turn number 1 there, Connery. Downing is trying to play this game and stretch his fuel out as long as he possibly can.
Yep, exactly. And a big wild card here could be Gerhardt as she hits the outside wall. I completely jinxed it. I'm so sorry. She struggles to control the car down on the infield. Still keeps that car going in somewhat of a straight line. We will stay green here, but heavy damage to Gerhardt. I was going to say she's the wild card in this sort of situation because she had like 5 laps of fuel on John Downing. Could make the 30 sort of lap mark to go, possibly. But now she's going to have to bring it down on towards the lane.
Yeah, let's have a look at a replay then. Let's just rewind that one just a little bit. There's the wall tag. I mean, gotta give Gerhardt credit there, Connery. Keeping that car going and not forcing a yellow. Fantastic job by her. However, I'm sure Downing is just thinking, come on, spin, 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 spin.
Yeah, definitely, and Downing just really does need that that caution. As I have a look at this car, he still hasn't come down on towards the lane just yet. On the stint times, he's at around about 33 laps. Of course, that does include caution. There's a car down on towards the lane. That's Michele Constantini at the back of the field, and John Downing will stay out just at least one more lap here.
Yep, so there's a look then at Michele Constantini coming down, making a pit stop. Lap number 50 of 85 here. On a Friday night prime time on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live. Don't forget, you can get social with us on Twitter. Follow us at RaceSpotTV. On Facebook, it's facebook.com/RaceSpotTV. 7.9 seconds scheduled service there for Constantini coming out and away. You want to keep our eye out though on this driver, John Downing, who last pit stop time 6.8 seconds. We do expect him onto the lane, I would say within 3 laps, currently running in P number 6. Try and do the maths here. This is why he's been saving fuel, Jake, because if he comes on towards pit road in 2 laps time, he will be good to go to the end. If he comes in now, he can't.
There or thereabouts, where it's going to be so marginal for John Downing, and he is looking to play the numbers out exactly the way that he wants to. And right now, you'd have to say that he's just been playing that waiting game. See, not deciding to go down low onto that opening corner. He's trying to minimize the amount that he is turning that wheel so that he is scrubbing up as little speed as he possibly can as he stays out for another lap here at the circuit of Indianapolis Motor Speedway. But I want to keep my eye on Kohlberg, and he's been the man on a mission. Another 10 locked off of the field in front. 6 tenths now between him and Ike.
Yeah, gap between Downing and your race leader, 5 seconds. You want to keep that one in mind, because actually there'll become a point when it doesn't matter how much fuel you have saved. There is Jeffrey Kohlberg. And let's have a look at the gap between him and the race leader, 1.4 seconds. Tim Doyle has tried his hardest to pull out a big lead here today, but has not been able to really do so, Connery. 51 of 85 scored complete.
Yep, Alec having a fantastic run here, just not losing touch of your leaders. Actually, John Downing in towards the lane now. This is absolutely crucial for him. He's got 33 laps to go. 33 laps on this tank.
Yeah, I think he can just about make it. He would want 1 yellow and it'll be perfect, but I think he can just about make it. The thing about fuel saving though, Connery, is you got to start at the beginning if you're going to do fuel saving. You don't want to wait until the end. The issue for Downing is, however, for the next 11-12 laps, he will be scored as 1 lap down. Because he dropped back 5 seconds, he will come up behind the race leader, a lap down. Stop time around 10 seconds. 10.6, out and away he will go. And it's worth noting, there is Tim Doyle through towards turn number 1. And Tim Doyle actually will pass that driver of Downing to put him a lap down. So Downing will now have to really hope this race will stay clean for at least the next 15 laps.
Yeah, exactly. He still needs a caution to get that fuel tank towards the end, unless he puts on mega fuel saving mode from the start of the stint. But if he has that caution before the rest of the cars coming down on pit lane, then, well, there's no lucky dog in the IndyCar Series. He's not going to get that lap back unless everyone ahead of him pits, and then he's just going to be at the back of the whole field when it comes down towards the restart. As we have another car down on towards the lane, that's Jankovic heading down for his scheduled stop right now. So for what's going to be Downing, the race isn't in his hands right now. It's in the hands of whether there's a caution or not right now and what the other drivers do.
Yeah, looking on board of AJ Burton versus Greg Newdrox right now. Burton's been one of the drivers up and down quite a bit today here, Jake. Currently running in P number 10, Golf Newdrops just ahead of him. But a big wiggle actually there from AJ Burton through turn number 2. And as these guys work themselves through a tyre cycle, work themselves through a fuel cycle, have to be more aggressive on those in-car tools, this is when we start seeing these cars get twitchier and twitchier, and also drivers really trying to find ways of just keeping their car on track.
Yeah, the island is certainly a place where everyone wants to stay and nobody wants to be ending in a bottomless pit of abyssness. And, well, AJ Burton, some may argue that he's been phenomenal today. I'm not quite sure he's shown that same sort of level that you'd expect out of AJ Burton in the number 15 machine. And maybe a couple of issues have brought him further back down, but he has done a good job to recover to get to that position. And by no means is he out of being in the contention, shall we say, for a top 5.
Henry Bennett also in P number 8, Connery. Now, of course, he has led laps here today, but ever since that restart when he's come in and everyone else has come in, Liam Quinn has had the far better run for these last 22, 23 laps.
Yep, exactly. When the race just starts to settle down, that's where he kind of comes into his own and he can just log those very quick laps. He's currently running behind the number 13 of Sam Sanders right now, running about 1/10 of a second a lap faster than driver ahead of him as Sanders takes a more middling line coming through turn number 2. And I've noticed Sanders has hit the outside wall in turn 2 at least once there. So, but his car looks okay. So it's just very lucky to get away with no damage after hitting the walls here at Indianapolis. He's running P number 7, having started P number 18. That's a fantastic move from the back.
Yeah, it's not a case about if you hit the wall here at Indianapolis. It's a case of how hard you hit the wall. Where do you hit the wall? Is it side on? Now McBride on towards pit road then, as we're now on lap 58 of 85. Here is McBride. This is a scheduled pit stop. And again, from now on, anyone who comes on towards pit road, Jake, they can make it to the end, even if we stay green.
Exactly, and that's going to be crucial now because it becomes a game of strategy. The final piece is being taken in this tactical game of racing chess, and keeping my eye again on Koolbergen. He's brought that gap down to 0.4 of a second now as they head to the yard of bricks once again for the 58th time to start the 59th lap. That gap now 0.3 of a second, and Koolbergen has arguably been the fastest man all day long, has just been making position on position on position and just knows what it takes to be in that picture come the end.
Yeah, Jeffrey Koolbergen has done a number of iRacing Indy 500s in his time. Same as Niall McBride has actually just come out of pit road. And quite a few of the field here have actual iRacing Indy 500 experience. Gordon Newdrop's former winner, of course. Niall McBride, he's done well in the past. Of course, Tim Doyle's the driver we talk the most about. But Koolbergen, Eek and Quinn, they've all been on the big race in years previous, as has Pierre Bourdon. As Tim Doyle then passed the yard of bricks, gap remains at 0.2 of a second. Here's the interesting one though, Connery. Niall McBride, would he try and race himself back onto the lead lap? He's only classified about 0.6 of a second behind Tim Doyle on fresher tyres. He does look very racy actually, as he's going to try and go down the inside of the driver of Jeffrey Koolbergen by the looks of it.
Yeah, but it looks like his run is just going to stall out before turn number 3 here, so maybe a little bit of a higher wing setting on that number 17 car. There's a lap car that just dove out the way there. That was Locke Barbe in that number 6
Doyle's
car.
in.
As AJ Burton, Doyle's in as well.
Yeah, so Tim Doyle comes on towards pit road. Liam Quinn is going to do the same then, as pit stop time under green here at IMS. Number 11 machine on pit road of Andreas here. Liam Quinn all on pit road. We'll keep it with Tim Doyle for the moment because he is going to be the first driver to hit his stall and take his service. And of course, he was your race leader coming in. Pit stop times, expect them to be about 9.5 seconds at this point right now. A lot of other drivers actually coming on towards pit road as well. We want to keep you up to date. And Tim Doyle will come out, Andreas 8 will come out second. Quinn, so they'll come in and they'll come out the same way. But Quinn did lose a little bit of time on pit road there. Here's the time then from the number 11 machine. 7.9 seconds on the pit stop. It was 8.6 for Liam Quinn, and you can see the difference really as they came off that pit road, Jake.
Yeah, you certainly did see that difference in getting out, getting away, making sure that they have themselves in good stead. That's what they have to be careful of right now.
Yeah,
and you
so
look
Jeffrey
at
Koolbergen is in as well. So the number 6 car, look, Barber has had a moment, and here comes Jeffrey Koolbergen. He's coming out of pit road as he will now 8.6 seconds He might be very close, actually, to Tim Doyle. Let's keep an eye out, and let's go on board the driver of Tim Doyle as Andreas Eeks actually got past in towards turn 1. This might help Jeffrey Kohlbergen go to the race lead. Kohlbergen is like yellow car in front. It's going to be very close. It'll be the acceleration zone there for Jeffrey Kohlbergen. This is actually going to hurt Tim Doyle. He's going to try and go down to the inside, but Jeffrey Kohlbergen now leads this motor race. What a fantastic run by him. Kohlbergen, less than 30 to go to the point there, Connery.
Yeah, absolutely fantastic run from him as he has a little bit. Actually, that's a car still only lap. Michel Ricky still hasn't come down on towards the lane, but Kohlbergen will make easy work of the number 1 driver. And now he has to work on pulling the gap between himself and Tim Doyle. And, of course, Alec as well. As Alec tries again down the inside of turn number 1, he will actually get the position.
Yeah, he will do. And Tim Doyle loses a bit of time. Michel Rishi, by the way, is classified on the lead lap. It's just the way this pit sequences work. Rishi has done 29 laps of a stint. However, well, in fact, both of them are going to go past there. That was very easy picking. But Rishi is classified on the lead lap, now down in P4. Gap between Kohlbergen and Tim Doyle, 7/10 of a second here. So, Tim Doyle, we know he is a wily old fox in this series. He will be thinking, wait a minute, Jake. Let's just make sure we get ourselves towards the front of the field. No point in racing too hard. Andreas, however, is saying, nah, let's just go racing.
Disagree with you on that one there, Will. I think Andreas Ike is going, you know what, we've got to work together, so we'll 1 and 2 this, get ourselves up to Kohlbergen, who's been the quickest man all day long, get ourselves in this scrap train of 3 to go through. As you see again, Tim Doyle looking to move to the inside. You look at how Andreas Ike moves out of the way through turn number 3, looking to set the run up through 4 and get the run through 1. They are clearly working together, trying to break Liam Quinn away from this group and to try and get themselves into a position where Kohlbergen can be caught.
Well, they've got down to the magical 6/10 of a second, so this will help now. Andreas should be able to catch up really quickly to the rear of Jeffrey Kohlbergen. But yeah, Liam Quinn 2.3 seconds now behind Tim Doyle, and last time by 0.2 of a second slower. Quinn wants a yellow at this stage in order to stay relevant in this motor race. Will come down to 25 to go. Gap, well, there's Tim Doyle. He's back down to the inside as they work themselves through turning 3, north end of the racetrack. Behind, worth noting that Gordon Newjocks and Sam Saunders are still battling it out. And that's the other big battle we've got going on inside your top 10 right now, Connery.
Yep, it is. As looking back to the front of the field, look, Tim Doyle, he's right underneath the rear wing of Jeffrey Kohlbergen now. So working with Andreas Alec, he's managed to drag himself back up towards your race leader and to give him a shout at taking this race win with under 20 laps to go right now. He won't go for the race lead down into turn number 3, but now it's going to be chess at 200 miles an hour. Where do you want to be on the coming onto the white flag? Yeah, indeed. So, and sometimes you just got to find a way of making it work when you get to the end. And Tim Doyle right on the rear of Jeffrey Kohlbergen. Well, come out of turn number 4, head themselves towards the yard of bricks. Tim Doyle going to try the outside line. That's brave by him. In towards turn number 1. Kohlbergen taking the inside line. These two have raced so many times before. Kohlbergen holding the inside line through turn number 1. Tim Doyle falling back into line, but trying to get down to the inside. Big wreck there. 1, 2 drivers out. Tim Doyle is out. Jeffrey Kohlbergen is out. Big yellow. Big battle for the race lead. It's all over.
My goodness me, that was scary heading through 2. They threatened it for 2 corners in a row, Will. And you have to say, you know, pandemonium comes into play when drivers are fighting at it. They had the world in their hands, but it's not in their hands anymore.
Well, there's the moment. And Jeffrey Kohlbergen started turning into the corner. Now, it's what I'm going to call one of those 50-50 passes, because Tim Doyle needs to hit the apex at some point. Jeffrey Kohlbergen on the outside, Tim Doyle on the inside. Andreas did get a bit of a tag as well. Let's get another look, starting first of all on board of the driver of Tim Doyle. I'm going to bring Randy Chernoff into this conversation right now. Randy, we've had a couple of looks at this one, but it is very, very close, I would say. Racing incidents the main part, we can say, but not when you're going for race lead. There's still 20 laps to go.
It's a close moment. They're running for the race win in an Indianapolis race. 15 laps to go. I think if you're that lead car, you're going to shut the door, and if you're Doyle, you're going to try to step through it while it's open. I think it's 50-50.
Yeah, Tim Doyle is able to stay in the road to race for the time being. Jeffrey Kohlbergen, however, is on pit road. A very long service for him, Connery, realistically out of the motor race.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see that car coming out of the lane in any good condition, shall we say. So we might see him stay down there for the rest of this racing. I have to wonder how much damage does Tim Doyle have. Looks like the front wing's okay, but what about the suspension? The rear wing is all crumpled up, it looks like that. So that car is definitely not going to be in contention for a race win here, unless they can do something about that rear wing in the pit stops. But I don't think so. I think he will come down towards the lane anyway, as we see the drivers head their way down. It's going to be, I think Richie's going to come down on towards the lane. Some drivers staying out though. Eek, Quinn, and McBride all stay out as your top three. And well, they've got Najuk, Sanders as well, and Doyle on towards the lane.
Yeah, I want to give a quick shout out to our friends over at Endurance Radio, currently at Circuit of the Americas. They go live 9 Eastern tomorrow morning. Catch them as they will be doing 2 8-hour races at Circuit of the Americas. Catch that one on Endurance Radio. A number of drivers coming down on towards pit road. Let's talk about this one for a moment here, Jake. People are thinking, yeah, these guys are good to go to the end. Yes, and fuel, but fresher tyres always helps here at Indy.
They certainly do, and when you look at this event and you've got 15 laps on fresh rubber compared to everybody else who's had 12 laps, that's going to be something interesting. That's going to be something worth keeping an eye out on. Something I am keeping an eye out on is Dmitry Djukanovic. He's got himself a blown engine. He will now be limping his way back home towards the pits.
Yeah, indeed. So let's look then at the top 8 on the bottom of your screen. We will step aside for a few brief moments here on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live. But don't go anywhere, as we will be back in just one moment time.
Get ready, going green. Green, green, green.
Welcome back. 15 laps to go at the line. You hear that engine revving there, Connery? That's called fuel burning.
Yeah, exactly. And one of the culprits of that is going to be Henry Bennett. He's just been running that car in quite high gear, just maxing out on the rev limit to try and burn as much fuel as possible, make that car as light and as fast as possible for the next 15 laps, which is going to be the race to the end after this restart.
Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, the Pro Series of Road Racing is on tomorrow here on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live. Catch all the action tomorrow from 1:30 p.m. GMT. Pace cars coming on towards pit road. It's a number 11 machine of Andreas Eek, who is going to be bringing the field back to the green flag. Waiting a long time, actually, before picking up those revs. Now he will go. Now we are green. And that's one of those strategies that can sometimes cause big moments, but everyone will get through towards turn number 1 at least. Okay, Jake.
Yeah, they do very well. That was almost a case of, say, in NFL, just trying to go for that small 1-yard drive, shall we say, just to get over the line. That was what Andreas Ike was probably thinking about. But right under pressure now, Jean-Marc Brunet looks to go through. Battle for the lead, though. Liam Quinn down to the inside at 3, takes the position, and crucial with 14.
Yeah, and at this stage, there's still about 5, 6, 7 drivers who easily can win this motor race here, Connery. And now they're on slightly different strategies. For example, Gordon Newcock and John Downing on fresher tyres. I expect to see them moving very quickly towards the front of this field as Quinn versus Ike is still going on. Whilst this will all happen, it allows Downing, it allows Newcock to become more relevant. Oh, we got a spinner.
Yeah, spinner back in field. It's going to be, I believe, I didn't quite catch that, was a car coming off of pit road, I believe, and actually Brunier is going to head his way down the inside of Niall McBride, coming down to number 3. No, he's just going to back out of that particular move. Where are the likes of Najuk and Downing and Doyle and all that? But Doyle in this second pack, actually getting to the front of this second pack. He has to be careful. He has to work with Morrissey here. Has actually tagged Morrissey in the back there. Morrissey in the wall, down the pit straight. Drivers trying to avoid. This will bring out another yellow.
We are back to yellow here with, it'll be 10 to go when we go back to green flag racing. Let's get a replay. Sergio Morrissey, number 16 machine. That was Tim Doyle behind. On the run down through turn number 3, turn number 4. Oh.
That is just the noise I would make as well in that sort of situation.
Yeah.
Just to sort of misjudge the overspeed coming off corner. Just dive towards driver's left-hand side a little bit too late. Just hooked the number 16 car there into the wall. And, well, that's nothing Morrissey could have really done about that. That was all on Tim Doyle. He just a little bit too late.
Yep. And after that point, game over. Yellow flag once again. It's been a lot of yellows, actually, Connery. And it's meant that we have had one round of green flag pit stops, but we've not really had the opportunity to see these different strategies really mature over time.
Yeah, no, we haven't. So it's going to be what is going to be a sub 10 lap stint at the end here, provided it goes green all the way. But because you have to remember, if we go yellow within 4 laps, I believe it is with it in this Verizon IndyCar Series, we will end it on the caution. There's obviously no green white checkers, no overtime rule like in NASCAR. It's just going to be, if there's a yellow inside those final 4 laps, that is going to end it.
As we talked about earlier on, don't forget, the Pro Series of Road Racing is on tomorrow here on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live. And Jake, they will head themselves to Circuit of the Americas. It's been a crazy, crazy season so far. Coming to round number 5, however, the championship is still pretty open. And we consider the drivers involved. Joshua Rogers now at the head of the championship. Alex Simpson, Frederick Rasmussen, Tommy Osgard, Michael Partington, all looking to punch their ticket for 2018.
It's a very crazy road to pro, as it were, and it's a circuit which a lot of drivers do not have an affinity with, that they have a sheer disdain at Circuit of the Americas. Tensions are flaring, drivers are very upset from time to time. They will be wanting a very good run tomorrow, but here today, it is something worth pointing out. That's the second time Tim Doyle has been involved in a caution-related incident, and that's going to be something just to keep an eye out on between now and the end of this event. Liam Quinn is just ticking down the laps, and now he's got to hope that Andreas Ike doesn't make the move back. Niall McBride doesn't want to become the bride and not a bridesmaid. And there's also Jean-Marc Brunet in the mix here. Will started 19th and looking potentially to go from almost the back of the grid to win this one.
Yeah, and also let's not forget that RaceSpotTV Primetime will return in time for the new season. But it is you, the iRacing community, who will decide what it is we show every Friday night. So head over to RaceSpot.tv/primetime. You'll have the opportunity to cast your vote very soon. And who knows, Connery, we might be streaming your event, quite literally, in terms of the iRacing community next season.
Yep, we will. And then there's also a small issue of maybe a little bit of rallycross as well.
Rallycross.
So that would...
You go. Let's go.
So that would definitely be a very, very interesting one. I'm looking forward to potentially broadcasting that one. I'd love to get my my voice onto that one, but it's just crazy stuff. Rallycross racing, short, but they are very, very full and jam-packed of action.
Yep. iRacing, once upon a time, it was just road courses and ovals. Now, it's all about dirt for ovals and also rallycross on the road side of things. iRacing becoming a bigger, better, faster, meaner, leaner service as we head ourselves into 2018. Don't forget animated pit crews as well, just saying, right? Liam Quinn then leads the way as we have ourselves now 10 laps to go in this event. Quinn leads from under the seat, Neil McBride in third, Jean-Marc Brunet in fourth, Henry Bennett, Gordon Newjock, John Downing, Tim Doyle. Give me a winner, Connery.
I'm going to call it. I'm going to say Liam Quinn.
Jake.
Niall McBride.
You know, the one time that I actually expect you to say more than like 2 words, so I can take a swig of water, you both do really, really quick and simple answers.
You just wanted a name, Will.
It's short and simple. It's all that it needs to be at this stage. Anything more that needs to be said is meaningless because we've got 9 laps to go when we get ourselves back to green.
Yeah, indeed so. So, there's a look at our field. You can hear the engines revving, trying to burn as much fuel as possible. Be careful. I have seen people burn too much fuel in this circumstance before, and then all of a sudden having to go back into fuel-saving mode. It is one of these things that can happen. Quinn. Leading the way. There'll be 9 laps to go at the line, and isn't this a familiar sight? Grandstand finish to the end of a race on RaceSpotTV with IndyCars live from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So sit back, ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the last 9 laps of this season on RaceSpot Primetime. Liam Quinn leads away. 14 drivers still in the race. Quinn picks up the speed, green flag in the air one more time. Here we go then, 9 laps to go. Who's going to take it all at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway? Oh, McBride there, getting very, very close to the grass, Connery, through turn 2. That's going to put him under a bit of pressure as Quinn versus Eek for the race lead.
Yep, Eek gets the race lead with coming up to 8.5 laps to go. So he is now going to try and defend that position from Quinn as we look further back in the field. Brunier and Henry Bennett battling side by side through turn number 4. Bennett hanging around the outside carefully. He doesn't cut in across the front of Newjux there as he will drive driver's right-hand side. Another challenge for the race lead going on. We might see 3 wide back in the pack here as 2x2 like Noah's Ark. They'll go down into turn 1.
Yeah, here we are, down through turn number 1. This is when the gloves come off. 220 plus miles an hour. Henry Bennett, Jean-Marc Brunet, they go side by side. Bennett gets the advantage, so Bennett actually now is in the position he wants to be. Brunet, you can see almost a bit of blocking going on there, weaving all over the place there between Bennett and Brunet. Brunet with the inside line through turn number 3 and 4. The issue is, however, Brunet and Bennett have lost the draft, Jake, as they come down to 7 laps to go.
And now it's a fight of the best of the rest between them as they look to continue battle for the lead. Andreas Ike on the inside of Liam Quinn. Quinn's going to lose that position into 1. And look who's sitting in the catbird seat. Niall McBride waiting for the magic moment to make things happen. Side by side behind into 2 between Brunet and Tim Doyle looking to get back through. Doyle gets all shades of squeaky bum time though. Newjos, and he's off the back of the train.
Yeah, let's not forget that Tim Doyle's car, after that spin and that moment earlier on, must not be in the best handling position, and you can just see he lost a lot of positions and a lot of time. He's just struggling to try and keep that car on the racetrack at certain points.
Oh, they hold on somehow, Will. My goodness me, that was Bennett and that was Newjos getting into one another.
Yeah, it was very, very close there. Let's have a look at the replay, actually. See if we can show that one to you again from our aerial coverage presented by And One Design. Here we are then, through turn number 4. Oh my word, that was very, very close between the two of them. We'll zoom in. That is Bennett, 45 degrees perpendicular to the racetrack. They somehow, though, Connery, kept it together.
Absolutely fantastic car control from both drivers. Now they have to make their way all the way back through the second pack. Now Brunet and John Downing are going to be battling for the lead of the second pack here as they go side by side for the race lead yet again. Eek down the inside of Quinn heading towards turn number 1, and it's going to be at side by side for P number 4 as well. Brunet on the outside, John Downing on the inside. Downing, he got caught out by that strategy in the middle of the race, but he's back and he's looking to chase down that lead pack.
Yeah, but Brunet is not just going to let him have the position. Oh, Brunet actually having to lift off the noisy pedal, and that's going to put him under pressure right now from Henry Bennett. Almost Tim Doyle's through, actually. Henry Bennett will be close behind. Tim Doyle trying to work himself. This could be the comeback for the ages if Tim Doyle could find a way of doing this. There'll be 4 laps to go at the line, and we're now into that situation, Connery, where the next flag, if it's a yellow, will end it.
Yes, it will potentially too wide. We are going to go with Tim Doyle on John Downing heading down into turn number 1 as they swap for positions yet again at the front of the field. They're just trying to work the draft to try and break themselves away from Albert Bright, but I don't think they're going to have enough time to do that as they head their way through turn number 2 now, and I don't think this second pack has enough time to get themselves back up to the top 3 positions.
Now they're 1.36 seconds behind, unless these top 3 really start squabbling. I think now it's a 3-horse battle. Liam Quinn, Andreas Eek and Neil McBride, 3 laps to go.
Yes, McBride just about trying everything to get through. Has the toe as well. The defensive line by Liam Quinn trying to get McBride into second, and now McBride starts to make his move and has to close up. He's leaving it a little bit late, but he should be able to get onto the back heading to the final lap. Doyle and Downing have tried very well in this race, but surely it is too little too late for them. Now it's down to McBride versus Quinn, and look at how Andreas Eik is being dropped off the back of the train.
Yeah, he's 7.5 seconds behind your race leader right now. Unless he's just trying to time a move to perfection, then it's going to be very hard for him. John Downing, Tim Doyle, side by side once again for P number 4 as they work themselves through turn number 3 and 4. There'll be 2 laps, 5 miles of racing to go. So much action happening as they work themselves through turn number 1, through turn number 2. There is Downing and Doyle. Behind you got yourself Brunet there in the mix as well. Look how close it is with all of these drivers. They head themselves now through turn number 2, round the outside. Will actually go Tim Doyle over John Downing. Fantastic run by him, but here comes the battle between Neil McBride and Liam Quinn. Quinn on the outside. Battle for your race lead as they work themselves towards the white flag. 1 more lap to go here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and it is going to be side by side Quinn versus McBride as they head themselves towards the yard of bricks. 1 more lap. Anything can happen here at Indy. Don't forget, Andreas Eek has the opportunity if one of these 2 drivers messes up as well. They almost go 3 wide through turn number 1. They almost go 3 wide through turn number 2 as well. Andreas Eek is looking for a lane. They do go 3 wide down the back straight away on the final time. Who's going to have the advantage? Actually, Quinn on the outside line is clear. For the moment, can he hold it around the outside line? He can. For the moment, move Liam Quinn to the race lead, but can Andreas Eek maybe do the drag race through turn number 3 and 4? It's going to be the drag race, but I don't think anyone is going to get Liam Quinn, or will they, towards the yard of bricks, pulling out at the last moment. It's going to be Liam Quinn's motor race. It will be Andreas Eek in second place, Neil McBride in third place, but Liam Quinn is your winner here today at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Tim Doyle, by the way, coming home in P number 4. What a recovery by him, Connery.
Wow, just wow. Liam Quinn managing to secure that move in the final 2 turns. I thought when they were heading 3 wide down the back straight there, it was all going to end in misery heading on the entry to turn 3, but Liam Quinn managed to hold on, and as you say, fantastic job from Tim Doyle. We thought it was all over for him in that sort of last caution there, but he managed to pull it all back to get P number 4.
Yeah, we're having a look at a replay then of this final lap on board with the driver of Liam Quinn. Through number 1, through number 2, and I was always thinking, look at Andreas, he's trying to find a lane. He got one, he moved himself to the inside, but because he took too tight an angle there, Jake, he didn't have the momentum to try and go for the race lead in towards 3. Quinn could then move from the outside down to the inside of the racetrack, kind of taking the air off of Andreas Eek's car a little bit, and I think that is what cost him the motor race.
Yes, and you argued maybe when he dropped 7/10 of a second back that, yes, he was trying to time that move to perfection, but he was too far back to make that move happen, and it proved it. He could make a move on the final lap, but unfortunately, he was too far back, and you could argue that he was too much held up through 1 to make the move effectively through 2. If he had an extra 1/10 of a second to slingshot through turn number 2, I don't think Quinn would have had anything to stop Ike down in towards turn number 3. Something else I want to point out, though, John Downing will have to be a very unlucky man. He got turned around in the final corner.
Yeah, indeed so. So Downing then will finish in P number 9. Here's a look, though, at your final race results here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Liam Quinn wins by 58 1,000ths of a second over Liam Quinn wins. Andreas Eakin second place. Now McBride rounds out your podium here today. Tim Doyle, despite the fact he had an incident, a crash with the driver of Jeffrey Kohlberger, and he recovers and comes home in 4th place. Henry Bennett, he had himself a number of issues really with his strategy. Tried to do the alternate, it didn't work for him. He comes home in P number 5. Worth noting in all of that, Liam Quinn and Henry Bennett were on the same strategy, but Quinn ends up making it work better than Henry Bennett at the end. Jean-Mike Brunet in P number 6, Sam Saunders in 7th, Ted Gonzalez in 8th, John Downing after that last lap crash in 9th, and Michelle Ricky coming home in P number 10. Let's look at the remainder of your results. Ricky Gerhardt, well, it was a fantastic run early on, battling almost for the race lead, coming home 2 laps down at the end in P number 11. Michelle Constantini, Gordon Newjocks, and Luke Barber, your main retirees, and you can see the other drivers behind. Jeffrey Kohlberger involved in that crash with Tim Doyle as they were going for the race lead with 18 laps to go, down in turn number 1 and 2. Heartbreak for Jeffrey Kohlberger, and the remainder of the results there up on your screen. Last place driver, Richard Tam. We're going to take a quick break here on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live. We'll be back to wrap things up after these messages as you're here watching Friday Night Prime Time.
Get ready, going green. Green, green, green.
Well, that's pretty much all we got time for then on Friday Night Prime Time here on RaceSpotTV and on iRacing Live. But tomorrow, the Pro Series of road racing will be at Circuit of the Americas. Connery, what do we need to look out for?
we need to look for the return of Freddie Rasmussen, of course, because he didn't make the last race because he was off doing other things, shall we say, in Abu Dhabi. But now he's going to be back with a vengeance. Expect him to be back at the front.
Yeah, he wasn't as fast as shaky finger dude, but hey, you know what? Freddie Rasmussen is a good race by him anyway. Jake, what are you looking forward to from tomorrow?
I'm looking forward to some very exciting battles, and not necessarily what I'm looking forward to, but what I'm expecting is going to be a lot of incident points, a lot of frustrated drivers, and arguably a lot of broken wheels by the end of the race.
Yeah, so that's all we've got time for. Thank you so much to everyone who's been a part of our coverage tonight. I want to give a shout out to Ispan Balau's Track Council Gourmets and One Design, the official graphics partner of RaceSpotTV, and to Simon Grossman from Aptioneer.in for overlay animation. This has been RaceSpotTV. Those two guys have been Jake Sperry and Connery Maddock. I've been Will Vincent, along with Randy Chernus and Hugo Louise in California, and we will talk to you all next time. Good night.